Hey everybody, Wanchik Bra here, and today I kind of wanted to do something different. I know that I've done a lot of K-pop related videos on my channel, but I wanted to kind of go into some anime stuff since I've recently, not recently, it's been like kind of a year that I've been like getting more into collecting anime and manga that I love. So I kind of wanted to get into that for you all today. So today I'll be showing my anime DVD collection, and I'll tell you a little bit about each series and all that stuff. I buy series except for one that I have that I've already watched. So stuff that's near and dear to my heart. I feel like that's like understandable given that we all buy DVDs of movies and stuff that we like. So get it, we get it. So let's just get started with this big stack right here of all the same series. Let's put it all in order here. Kind of off to the side. Collection 1 and Collection 2. Okay, so I have all of Little Busters right here. So this is season 1 in 2 discs, and then season 2 is all on one. So, and then the OVA, Little Busters EX is over here. Little Busters, I believe was the first key series I watched before Clannad. It was Little Busters and then Clannad, perhaps, because I had a like little preview on cable TV of Anime News Network, and this was one of the series on there that I got like my start of watching anime with. This and like 3 other series that I'll mention that I actually own as well. So Little Busters essentially is about these group of friends that want to just like embrace their summer and like their school life as much as they can because they were all childhood friends and they grew up together, and then they meet other people and they actually form a baseball team. But it's also like slice of lifey. They're on a baseball team, like they're hanging out, stuff like that, and it gets a little more weirder and darker as most key series do, but I won't spoil the ending for you if you haven't seen it. I love this series and I love the characters so much. This OVA made me cry like a bitch, and Refrain made me cry like a bitch. I probably teared up during the first season, but I haven't watched it in a hot minute, so I need to rewatch it. I believe the last time I watched it was back when I was a young boy, a young teenager, so I gotta get on that. So definitely very happy to have Little Busters in my collection, because it's one of those anime series that I had in the beginning, so... This one needs no explanation. If you haven't seen Ouran High School Host Club, get on it, because it's one of the must-see animes, in my opinion. But if you don't know what this is about, it's basically about this main character, Haruhi Fujioka, who is a kind of scholarship student at this really rich high school that she goes to, and she wanders into a room looking for a place to study, and she knocks over a very expensive vase that she cannot pay for. She cannot pay for its repair or for the replacement of, and it was in the host club room. So in order to pay back her debt, she poses as a boy and becomes a part of the host club, and it's great. The manga, it's kind of like we never got a season 2 of this, so it's kind of like a fuck you, go read the manga type of ending, but the anime is worth it. I do highly recommend this series as well. This is my favorite reverse harem series of all time, Kamigami no Asobi. And I'm sure not a lot of people have heard of this series, so I'll kind of give you a little rundown of it. She's not even on the front cover, is she? She's down here. You can't even see her, but it's about this girl named Yui Kusanagi, who is just a regular girl, and she gets transported to a world where all of these gods from Japanese, Greek, and Norse mythology all coexist together, and Zeus brought them all there to learn the power of the human heart and what that means. So basically, for them to not be selfish, disgusting. It's ironic that Zeus wants this to happen, because we all know in Greek mythology he's like the biggest douche lord around. But it's a very sweet story, and she kind of connects with all these guys, and like, I cannot stress this enough, but every reverse harem protagonist usually is like an airhead, but she's like so smart, she's so driven, she knows what she wants, she isn't a pushover. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I gave this a 10, and every single person that I've showed this to has also given it a 10, which is only 2 people, but still, It's a great series. I really recommend you check it out. Here we have Bigate Etuke, or Yamada's First Time. This is one of the funniest anime I've ever watched. Granted, it's been a very long time since I've watched it, but I really do love this series and I wanted to own it, so I definitely picked it up. So Bigate HK is about Miss Yamada here, and she basically wants to have sex with 100 guys. Before she graduates high school, and she's a virgin, so she's never had sex before, but she wants to conquer all these men. So she basically just picks a guy and she's like, all right, this guy will be my first guy. But then she ends up falling in love with him, and it's really sweet. It's got ecchi antics. It's super funny. It's a comedy, romance, ecchi, that type of thing. But I really love this series. Then we have Groß und Panzer. As you can see, you can kind of already guess what this is about if you've never heard of it. But this was one of the anime that I had on like the free Anime News Network episode, and then I watched the rest of it. It's great. It's about girls on a tank team. Like, they basically just battle other schools in tanks, and it's like wholesome, but at the same time it's like you have action sequences that are like, whoa, this is kind of dope to watch. So without like giving away too much of like the epicness of it, that's all you're getting from me. And then I have the box set for Codebreaker. It has like 2 DVDs, well, 2 Blu-rays, and it like has the whole series in it. This series, I think, is one of the most underrated shonen of all time. Like, I saw like what it was rated on my anime list, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna suck. I loved this anime a lot. And the box set was like on sale on Right Stuff for like $8, so I was like, all right, we're gonna own it. But basically, the plot of this is kind of really hard to explain if like you've seen it. But like, my anime list does like a really good job of it. But I'll give you the gist of like how it started. This girl on the back, I believe her name is Sakura Koji. She basically sees this guy today burn a bunch of people with blue fire, and she's like, what the hell is going on? So she investigates, and then she gets tied up in this whole thing about these people called Codebreakers, and essentially they rid the world of evil, so to speak. What does it say here on the back? He's like, yeah, he's an assassin employed by a secret government organization. So he basically kills all the evil, and that's his thing. I kept this just because I didn't want to get rid of it. But like, that's like the whole thing of the series, and like, you learn there's more Codebreakers, and I really suggest you give that a try because it's super underrated. It's such an underrated shonen anime. So yeah. There are also a lot of DVDs I want to own, and there are some in the mail, so I will definitely do an update to this video when I get more. But for now, we'll keep it rolling. I have all 4 seasons of Utano Prince Sama, another reverse harem that I adore, and I'm going to be real with you. Utano Prince Sama fans, I hope that you feel me on this, but season 4 wasn't that great. These 3, pretty consistent. This one, I wasn't feeling it, but I watched seasons 1 and 2, and only recently, probably like a year ago, I caught up on season 3 and 4, and oh my god, dude. I have a really soft spot for this series because I watched the whole first season on that Anime News Network like trial thing, and it just has a really special place on my heart. Orifice Heart is the best opening out of all 4 of these. I don't want to hear any other objections. 2 is really good. 3 is 4, couldn't really care about it. But this series, if you've never heard of it, it's a reverse harem anime about this girl right here, Haruka Nanami, and she goes to a music school where she wants to become a composer. And all of these guys around here want to be idols or singers. So it starts out that she like teams up with them during school to like compose songs for them, and then they kind of learn from her, and she learns from them about how to be better as like singers and a composer, and then they end up becoming an idol group. So spoiler alert, that's the end of season 1, but like, I mean, it's not really the biggest spoiler because you can kind of assume that that's going to happen, maybe, potentially. But this series is more focused on like music and like being wholesome than it is on romance. And I kind of like that about it. So I definitely wanted to own this for sure. I'm so glad that I caught up on the latest 2 seasons, and we're getting new movies soon, Utapri fans, so that's fun. Fantasista Doll, the superior Magical Girl series, in my opinion. Basically, she has a smartphone, and it has all of these magical girls, and she fights with them. Very simple description, very simple anime. Again, one of the anime I watched on Anime News Network, and I instantly got hooked, and it's very nostalgic for me because it's one of my first animes ever. But wouldn't say I highly recommend this. I'd say if you like magical girls, watch it, but I'm gonna see if I can shoehorn my friends into watching this because it's like cutesy and it's like really not what they're used to. So yeah. I have Sunday Without God here, or Kamisami no Inai Nichiobi. I really liked this anime. Another Anime News Network anime. Another one that I don't own, that I probably won't ever own, is called Upate, if you've ever heard of that. That's another one. But back to Sunday Without God. I really like this anime. I also think it's super underrated. It's basically about this girl named Ai who, after God abandons the earth, people can't die unless she buries them because she's a gravekeeper. She basically makes sure people are laid to rest. So they kind of wander around as zombies, and she is the only gravekeeper left. So she kind of has to roam the world, get into adventures and stuff like that. So and this anime has a lot of really deep discussion about, you know, what you do with your time and stuff like that. And I really heavily enjoyed it. So I recommend this for sure as well. Then I have the very fancy steelbook of Beyond the Boundary. It also includes the movies. I haven't watched the movies, but I have to get around to it sometime. But I have a really long list of stuff I need to watch, so that probably won't be anytime very soon. But hopefully I can. But Beyond the Boundary is about this girl named Mirai, whose blood can be used to turn into a sword and kill yokai. And that's the very simplified version of it. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but it's Kyoto Animation. It's beautiful. It's got romance. It's got fighting. It's got basically everything that you would want in an anime. Definitely need to give this a rewatch, but I wanted to own it. Just for the simple fact that I loved it when I first watched it. Another very underrated anime, but also one of my favorites, Bartender. It's just about this guy who's a bartender, and like all the people that come into his bar, you just learn life lessons, and it's like a slice of life, but it's like an episodic reflection of like different life lessons, and I really love it. I definitely 100% recommend this if you like Death Parade, because it's got the same vibe, just without like the psychological weirdness of, not weirdness, because I love Death Parade, and we'll talk about it in a second because it's right there. But the psychological stuff, like the really deep, heavy stuff of Death Parade, this has none of it. This is just like life lessons. We're chilling, making drinks, and just having a good time. So very highly recommend this. And when I saw there was an anniversary box set coming out, I immediately like pre-ordered this and swiped this up for sure. Death Parade. If you've listened to only the opening of this show like I did when I first watched it, you're in for a hell of a ride. It basically talks about death. Just to put it simply, I really don't want to spoil this anime too much. I feel like you should go into this anime blind like I did. I knew nothing about it, and I just went in it blind, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. So definitely highly recommend this anime too. But I know it's been talked about a lot, so I hope you've seen it by now. And then we have Grenadier. I'd say this was in the beginning of me watching anime, but like not in the very beginning, like maybe a couple months into it. But I have a really soft spot for this anime as well. It's just a really sweet story. It's about this woman here named Tendo Rushina, and she basically wants to bring peace to the land because it's in war. It's like super like war tattered town, and she just wants to bring people together instead of pulling them apart, and she wants to do it with peace and with minimal violence. And then she meets the samurai Yajiro, and he is just a roaming ronin, and they team up and they do their best to kind of bring peace to the land, as simple as it is. I feel like you should go into this semi-blind as well. Like, I feel like it's worth it. It's a really good show, and I really enjoy it. So that's why I bought it. I don't have all of Free, but I have the Take Your Mark movie and the second season. I definitely want to get more of this because this was a show that I watched simply because of Hot Anime Boys when it came out. That's when I started watching anime, guys, when Free came out, like in 2013 or something. Yikes. But I recently rewatched Free and watched Eternal Summer and Dive to the Future and the movies and all that stuff because I had only seen the first season. And I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Granted, back then I only watched it for the hot guys, and like it was a good first season, but I really didn't expect it to go anywhere that present day me would have liked. But I really enjoyed it. I had a fun time rewatching it. I laughed, I cried. It was a good story, and I'm kind of sad that like Free's kind of phasing out now. I missed out when it was coming out, but like yeah, check it out. It's about a swimming team in high school. So, yeah. Out of every mainstream show, like the mainstream shonen shows, this one's my favorite. Solier, so good. Granted, the last half of it is filler, but I just really enjoy the stories and the characters. So, basically, it's about the Death Weapon Meister Academy, in which these two attend, and in the beginning of the story, they're on their last soul to become, like, the Death Scythe, which is, like, the peak status that you want to have at the Death Weapon Meister Academy, because you get to work with Death himself. But basically it's about Meisters and weapons. She's the Meister, he's the weapon, and there are more characters, of course, but Meisters wield the weapons in order to get rid of Kishin souls, which are basically evil souls, and witch souls, which they have to collect in order. They have to capture 100 souls and a witch soul, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's it. I haven't watched it in a while. But, yeah, so obviously that doesn't happen. First episode, it's not really a big spoiler. But they go through, like, some really evil shit. Like, evil villains emerge, they gotta deal with that shit while also being a student, and it's like funny. This is one of the funniest anime series I've ever seen. I rewatch it to this day. Like, certain episodes I will rewatch like over and over and over again. But it's a classic. Definitely check it out if you haven't. This is the only exception. This anime was on sale, and I needed to get to free shipping on Right Stuff, so I picked it up. But I think I'm gonna really love it because it's mystery, which I love. It's detectives, which I love. It's like supernatural powers, which is great. Like, all this wrapped up just seems like something I would love. What I know about this anime is it's about this detective named Yakumo who can see, he can see dead people and communicate with them, but also he's a detective, so that's kind of dope. And I just wanted to check it out. So I haven't gotten around to watching this yet, but I will definitely get to it when I get through all the anime that I need to get through. So yeah, that's my anime DVD collection. Let me know if you want to see anything else, like my manga collection. That's super large. That might take like an hour video because I'm going to be talking about all the series. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and wherever you are, I hope that you are doing well, you're staying safe, keeping hydrated, being not sick because we hate that, and just having a good day, night, afternoon, or whatever time it is for you. I love you guys. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a very, very long time, but I hope you can forgive me, and I will be back with more content. So, thank you. Bye-bye.